I always like to go back to the day the Kaikatio arrived on this island. He arrived here on this canoe and survived. So food comes from nature. It starts for me with the word food security already. So the security gives us the feeling that we have to be insecure, because there might be something happening that there is no food anymore. So once you go with that narrative, you're going to look for solutions. And that's what we see happening for the last, I don't know how many years. We're all afraid there's going to be a day that there's no more food, and how are we going to solve that problem? How are we going to grow food? And that tells me that as a human being, you want to control the food system. And to me, it's a little different, because for me, it's like, I always like to go back to the day the Kaikatio arrived on this island. He arrived here on this canoe and survived. So food comes from nature. It doesn't come from a fabric, because there wasn't a fabric here that provided, there was no container ship coming, there was no hydroponic system, there was no nothing. There was apparently food in nature that the Kaikatio may decide that he could stay here, live here. Then there was a day that he thought, like, okay, let's bring some more people. And he needed more mouths to feed. So what he did, he cleared a little piece of land and he started growing the corn that he brought from Venezuela, or the maïsirabo. Well, that's how monoculture systems were introduced to a system that was already providing food. So that's for me very important to understand, that nature is your provider of food, and as human beings we can work together with nature. So we can observe nature and see where is there a spot that I could maybe clear a land to maybe a little bit more controlled agriculture. But it's still in collaboration with each other, and that's something the original Kaikatios understood very well. They understood they couldn't just clear the land and produce, clear and produce, clear and produce, because that will take all the nutrients from the soil away. You also have to add layers of nutrients back into the soil. And once you understand that it's a whole system, that everything is connected, then you start to understand that you are a part of that bigger system as well. So yeah, food security on its own is a word that I don't really like. I rather go with food sovereignty, yeah, and that's a word I cannot pronounce, food sovereignty. But you know, understanding that we are part of nature. And for me that meant that the last 10 years or more, since I arrived in 2007 on Aruba, I've been starting to observe nature. What is the condition right now?